Okay, today while I'm waiting on a few more brake parts to come in for the brake conversion, I'm working on another problem I'm having. I'm having a problem with the RPMs when you get off the throttle. Basically the RPMs stay really high. So I'm trying to figure out whether I had a leaky manifold or what was going on. So I came out today, started it up, and my middle slide is sticking. So I'm about to get to this middle carburetor. I'm actually just going to do all the carburetors since one's sticking. I'm going to take them all out of here, clean them all up, check the slides, make sure they're moving up and down properly. Check my cable function, which I'm pretty sure the cables are good. But basically we're going to try to get to that middle carburetor for sure and figure out why the slide's sticking. Now when I take my throttle and twist it, I can actually feel on the side of the carb. It's hard to do this with one hand. But I can hear and feel the inside and outside when moving. That middle one's not moving at all. So it's either stuck halfway open or it's not moving at all, which would mean that the cable would be broken. But since as soon as I started, it goes to about 6,000, 7,000 RPMs. Obviously, it's probably just stuck halfway open, and the cable's just bunched up in there. So, again, let me try to get this apart, and we'll see what's wrong with it. Now, even though I don't have to, I'm going to go ahead and take off my side cover, my tank, because I'm going to pull the snorkel out of there too, and take off my seat. The side covers, you just unscrew the thumbs if you haven't done that before. The seat itself, underneath the seat there are two pins. You pull the cotter key out, the pin slides out, and the seat falls off. So with my two sides off and my seat off, put my oil cap back on real quick. To take the tank off of this, super easy to get the tank off these bikes. There's a rubber strap right here. I'm going to take the rubber strap and pull it down off of the back of the tank. And you got three fuel lines, which are on the side here. I already noticed mine, my clips are super loose, so these fuel lines aren't on there very good. And you pull your fuel lines off. It's a vacuum fed engine, so you should lose a little bit of gas, but not a lot. And I'll definitely be replacing these clips when I put this back on. So you'll lose a little bit of the gas that you got in your lines, but you shouldn't lose a ton. It shouldn't keep on going. There's no off on the petcock. But again, unless the motor's running and pulling gas through it, it should not keep dripping. If it does, you need to check your petcock. So put me down a small piece of cardboard there. Now to get this tank off, we're going to lift up in the back lightly. Well, not lightly, but short amount. Watch the front. If you lift up too high, you're going to hit your tank on the bolts and you will knock the paint off of it. So you're going to lift up and we're going to pull to the back and it should slide right off of there. So again, up, fingers in between the bolts so don't tear it up. To the back and the tank comes off. So now with the tank and the side covers out of the way, I can get into my carbs a lot easier. If you didn't want to, you didn't have to take the snorkel off or the intake. I think they call it a baffle also. I could just unloosen the tops of those carbs and check them out from here, but again, I'm going to just take this out just so I can examine the whole system. So I've loosened my air filter clamps. I should be able to pull those off now. And then I can get this boot out from the other side. Probably get out of this side if I tried, but I'm going to try to pull it out through the other side, I think. And I'm going to have to set the camera down to do that, but I'll get that boot out. And again, I just needed the other hand to get it started, but I just tipped it backwards, pulled it straight out through the side there. So that lets me get this out. Now if you want to take that part out too and clean it, which I'm going to do when I take the carbs off, I'll be able to actually get the air box through that hole. I'm going to take that out and clean it all up also. Alright, so I thought it was my middle carb, but if I put my finger in the back here, I can lift these and they drop right down. Second one lifts and drops. My outside carb though, when I pull it up, if I let go slowly, it's not seating. It's dropping, but it's definitely taking some time. So if you got any vacuum at all in the motor, that's going to stay up and not sit like it should. It's like this one. Pops up, drops right down. That one is dragging. So my outside is my problem area. So I'm going to take the carbs off and clean them out. But if you were just trying to get one side, or you're just trying to fix one side of it and you can get to it like this, what you need to do is unscrew this cap on the top. you get it unscrewed, your slide pulls right up out of there. It's definitely sticking, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to examine the slide for damage. And right here on the side of it, this is tacky, almost like sticky oil. So I'm guessing maybe blowback from the motor at one point or another. But I think I can just clean this up and drop it back in, and I could probably run it the way it is. So what I'll actually do is I'll probably do that after I clean out the inside of it, because it's definitely in there also. See if I can get it to idle good, and then I might go through taking it apart and cleaning them all out. Alright, so what I did is I cleaned the inside of the carb out. I just used some brake cleaner, sprayed it on the rag. I didn't spray it down in the carb. Took the rag, swabbed out the inside, cleaned it up, cleaned up the slide really good. When you drop the slide back in, this slide's definitely got some wear patterns on it. I think it'll be okay, but if it starts hanging up again, I might have to actually change the carb or the slide. But if you look down in here, one of the jets sticks out further than the other ones. The top jet does. So make sure you put your long slot on the side of the high jet. I'm just going to take that, I'm going to drop it back in slowly. Should fall right down into place. Don't force it. If it doesn't fall right in, you got something angled wrong. That's a little bit harder to do with one hand than two. And I'm back down in the hole. Don't cross thread your cap when you put your cap back on. And I may have to readjust that because it's probably turning up under here because the actual slide adjustment's underneath there. I'm hoping it goes back into place where it was and I don't have to adjust them all, but worst case I have to adjust it, but technically that boot should hold it right where it was. So we'll snug that back down the rest of the way. Feel inside, and when I lift it up and down now, it's working like it should. There's no more hang up, there's no more drag. So while I got it apart, I'm going to go ahead and clean up the other two. I'm just going to clean the slides out, and then we'll put the tank back on, we'll fire it up and see if it runs good. Alright, so I stuck the snorkel back on, got the air filters all tightened up. Alright, so the snorkel's back in. I tightened up the clamps. I went ahead and checked my manifold clamps. They were a little bit loose, so I tightened those up while I was at it. Again, I'm just going to take it out here, start it up, see if it'll run and idle good. If runs and idles good, I'll probably just leave it like it was. Eventually, one of these days, I'm going to take those carbs off and clean them out, but if it's going to run, I'm not going to do that right now. I got too many other projects. I'm just trying to get to where I can drive it every day. Alright, seems to be idling really good. RPMs are coming right back down now whereas they weren't before. Take it around the block real quick, see what it does. Find a good place to clamp this. So that 100% took care of the problems. So whatever that sticky stuff was on the inside of that carburetor is what was causing it to hang up. Now again, I don't know whether maybe again, I've only had this bike for a couple months. I've been working on it the whole time. I haven't really even got to go on a good long ride on it yet. Maybe he got something in the intake, maybe a drip oil or something sucked through and stuck to the carb slide and just stuck it.